Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm Megan Robinson. Former Montana State quarterback Sean Chambers knows a thing or two about playing South Dakota State. He's faced the Jackrabbits as a player in both 2022 and 2023. This week, he'll face them for the first time as an assistant coach for his alma mater. Sean, you've played against South Dakota State twice in your career as a Montana State quarterback. How would you describe this rivalry?
Yeah, that's kind of the first time I've ever heard that phrase be used against playing against South Dakota State as a rivalry, but it probably is a little bit. They're a well-respected team in the FCS, a well-respected program. Although they got a new coaching staff this year, that's still the kind of the same South Dakota State DNA that they play with. They play hard on defense. They're good on offense. They're big up front. And it's fun playing against those guys. They're really competitive. We're a very competitive group on this side, and going up against those guys and playing against those guys, it brings the best out of us, and we really enjoy it.
You're in your second year on the coaching staff at Montana State. How has your experience as a player playing against the Jackrabbits help you prepare your players now as a coach?
I think just being able to kind of provide what this game is, and how to play this game, and what this game means to people. In 23, we kind of had a heartbreak loss. And I think, that was kind of the first time I really, really felt, like this game is different than others. Right. And so, just kind of giving back to the players now, the younger guys now that don't quite understand what this game is. I think that's kind of the role that I'm trying to provide right now for the guys.
People have been saying that this game, only week 2, but it has that kind of playoff feel. How do you get your players to understand the magnitude of this game, but also, hey, still only week 2. We have plenty of season left to go.
Yeah, I think, just going the preaching going 1-0 every week. Don't let the game get too big or too little for us. Go 1-0 every week. Kind of the nameless, faceless opponents mindset a little bit. Now we understand that we're playing a very good ball club. But, just trying to go 1-0 every week, doesn't matter who it is. It just so happens to be South Dakota State this week. And, that's just kind of our mindset, just to go 1-0.
I want to talk a little bit about your transition from Montana State player to Montana State coach. Only in your second year on this coaching staff, of course, you split reps with Tommy Malott. What was the hardest part of the transition, going from being teammates with these guys, literally sharing reps with them, to coaching them?
Yeah, it was kind of a difficult transition, especially at first. I got here right before fall camp started, and, learning the playbook as a coach versus as a player is a little bit different. So I had that obstacle that I had to get over, and then the relationship side of things, I played with a lot of those guys. And although, some of them are my good, close friends, I kind of had to keep it professional and kind of had to have the coach to player relationship. But it was good. It was good. I was fortunate enough to, work with the quarterbacks last year and Tommy. And, that was super awesome, just because Tommy was a guy that, even though we played together, he was still open to ideas and open to coaching. So it was fun. It was difficult. It was a roller coaster ride for sure. But I'm glad it played out the way it did.
You mentioned the challenges of being teammates with these guys, being their friend, to then keeping it professional and being their coach. On the flip side, you go from being coached by Brent Vegan to being his colleague. What was that transition like for you?
Definitely a little different. I still kind of see him as my coach, right? He recruited me. I played for him as a quarterback in his position room, and as my head coach, right? So it was definitely a little different, and I probably still see him as my coach. But it's been cool, just to hear his insight that he gives to his staff and how he helps and how he sees the game. It's been really cool to learn and see from my perspective.
Back to this 2-3 matchup on Saturday with South Dakota State. Of course, it's Montana State's home opener, Gold Rush. How big of a factor will the crowd be in this one?
Yeah, it's going to be rocking. It's going to be electric out there. I know Bobcat fans have been waiting since January 6th to get back in Bobcat Stadium and root the Bobcats on. So it's going to be an awesome atmosphere. Gold Rush is one of the most special games of the year, and it just so happens we got a really good opponent coming in. So I think the guys are pumped. I think the community's pumped. I think the state of Montana is pumped. It's going to be a really, really cool night and a really awesome atmosphere.
Up next, Sam Herder from Hero Sports joins me for Game Picks.